Okay, let's bring in former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo now. Mr. Secretary, thank you for standing by as we waited for this breaking news. As I noted, the markets were heavily anticipating this. The announcement's been made. Will this cripple Iran in the way the administration is obviously hoping?
Well, Stan, it's great to be with you. I thought the remarks were brilliant. I thought they were clear. I thought it was important, too, that he laid down the moral case for why it is the United States is engaging in these. And we should remember a couple of things. First, from D-Day to victory was quite a time. It didn't happen overnight. And so we'll have to be patient as they impose these sanctions after the timelines where they're going to give grace so folks can make transitions. It will still take time for them to feel the pressure. I thought it was especially interesting that he mentioned both aviation and energy. The aviation industry provides a lot of money to the IRGC and its people. If all air travel in and out of Iran is closed down, that's a significant step. And then finally, a couple of reporters asked questions about Chinese banks. It's always been something that we have been very careful about, secondary sanctions on Chinese banks. To actually execute a real D-Day, secondary sanctions against Chinese banks will have to be imposed.
Okay, so to your earlier point, Bessent saying every country has a defined timeline to shut down activities that they have identified, that the administration's identified. If they do not take action, he said, we will do so unilaterally through Treasury authorities. Was anything that you just heard a shock or a surprise to you, Mr. Secretary?
No surprise in terms of the tools available to Treasury. And I'm also not surprised Secretary Bessent was very clear about the range of options that they have. I remember when we put maximum pressure on in the first administration, we gave our allies, the Indians, the Japanese, the South Koreans, I think 100 days to transition from purchasing Iranian crude so they could make other arrangements. That seems perfectly appropriate to me, but it needs to be very clear that when that period is over, no extensions, no alibis. This is serious stuff, and it is go time. And then last, Senator, I just want to say, he said there were only a couple of options for the Iranian regime. I think that will be true. But they may choose subsistence existence. The IRGC are not going to go quietly into the night. I suspect it's going to take more of the blockade and potentially more kinetic action to actually achieve the goals that Secretary Bessent laid out today.
Let me perhaps finish there to your point about Bessent saying Iran faces two choices. Here he is.
Iran now faces a very clear choice with only two paths before them. Complete global isolation and a subsistence economy, or a path back to normalcy with an opportunity to rejoin the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime.
Give you a final thought on that, Mr. Secretary.
I think Secretary Bessent is spot on. These will force that decision for them to pick one of those two paths. I think they'll test us. They'll try and blow up ships in the Strait. They'll try and make real pressure. They'll go after our Gulf Arab allies. But those choices will ultimately have to be made. And I hope the Iranian people will direct all around them, the soldiers that are serving, the sailors that are sailing, help direct those folks to say, we don't want to live in a subsistence economy. We don't want to be like the North Korean people. We want to be part of the global world. And we should stop this madness.